Hello and welcome to the Major One Community Update. My name is Mars Ross. I'm joined by Daniel Say.
Hey.
The man himself. Mate, we're here in Madrid. It's fantastic.
Here in Madrid, my first time. I had paella last night.
The real deal.
Freaking delicious.
I haven't had
Freaking
anything yet.
delicious.
It's been strictly business for me. The major has been so good. We've seen everything so far. We've had some pretty serious upsets on day one. We've had singing fans. Gentlemates are here. We've got it all going on. I mean, amazing activations, a lot of drama, a lot of excitement, a lot of good stuff happening so far, but it has not disappointed. The first time we've been here in Europe in 5 years, I think you said.
Yeah, I wasn't around for the first time in London, so this has been awesome. We've heard about the legendary European fans. We had a bunch of Heretics fans screaming as they upset Optic Texas last night. The fan association from the Gentlemates came, hundreds of people strong, so super, super cool to see Europe show out for this major.
But we've had a fantastic event so far. Obviously, we're here on day two, and these lands are amazing. This is what makes COD so special, COD Esports so special.
Yep.
I wonder though, I mean, there's a degree of confusion, I think, for the community. This is a Toronto Ultra event in Madrid.
Yes.
How does the league contribute to this as well? Because it's still a CDL event.
Yeah.
It gets a bit murky for me as someone who works here.
Yeah.
How does that all work, Daniel?
It's a good question because I don't think we've really gone into it too much before, but it is a great partnership for these team-hosted majors. I think first and foremost what we have to say is hosting these majors is a huge endeavor. So one, we are incredibly thankful, appreciative, and lucky to have teams that can and are willing to host these majors. Over the years, we've learned about how to better support these teams as they host them, but we do operationally and financially support them as they host these majors and sometimes their Challenger Open events. And as an example of that, you know, at least on the financial side, I'll dig into that piece a little bit more because I think we've never really talked about that. So using fake numbers, like in the past, we would provide, call it $200 for a major event subsidy. It's for them to help reduce their costs for major. Provide about $100 for a challenger subsidy. We've learned over the years, and I announced this last year in a league update, we wanted to increase that. So now instead of $300, now it's $350 that we provide all at once in one event subsidy for the teams to help reduce their costs for these events. You know, since the beginning, we've always handled broadcast. I think one easy way to think about these events, the league will always handle the broadcast, the teams handle production, and add in all the little different team-specific cool things, merch, marching bands, whatever it may be. That's really the teams, and that's really cool to see them locationalize their tournament. And so, yeah, in a nutshell, that's how we split things up, and we couldn't do it without them. And I think, they appreciate our help as well. And together, I think it becomes the best product for our fans.
Tony, thank you very much. I had no idea how most of that operated, so thank you, mate.
Yeah.
I feel far more informed now.
Yep.
The lands are amazing. They're such an exciting part of COD. It's really, the backbone of COD Esports, and a big part of that is also, coming into these tournaments is the online qualifiers. We have to also play online.
Yep.
There's been a lot of chatter in the community recently about servers and ping differences and all kinds of cheese. Is there anything you can sort of explain there? Because I have an understanding of how this works, but I think the community at large, we're guessing, we're throwing, a lot of conjecture out there.
Yeah, and I think it would be helpful because I think we haven't spoken about it as much, and so the community has to create or doesn't know what to believe. And so happy to talk about that. I feel like these discussions pop up a lot at the beginning of the season. And I think we understand why, right? Anytime you're playing online and you have teams in different locations all across North America, there's gonna be differences in pings. We accept that, the teams accept that, but what's really important to us is we have a process to make sure that there is a level competitive playing field, and we do that through data, and we try to be objective about it. So specifically what we do, before the season begins, we have every single team play to every single server that we have. We log down what that latency is. With all those numbers, we then know what are the optimal servers that make it even for two teams when they compete. We then provide that server to the teams the week of their competition, so no surprises. Before every single match, there are certain latency conditions that have to be met before we'll ever play. They have, relatively even playing field. And if we find that it's not the case for whatever reason, we have at our disposal the minimum latency tool. What this tool allows us to do is artificially add ping to one side or another so that they come within 5 milliseconds of each other.
It's pretty good. I mean, this sounds really simple. It sounds, you've got this list of data, you've the optimal setting for, let's say Atlanta and, Toronto to play each other, they'll go to a certain server.
Right.
This all sounds very simple.
Yeah.
How come, it still feels like there might be an issue or two, or we hear players complaining things. What else is there? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was that simple, and that's why you do see Sometimes there's server issues, sometimes it's network congestion, sometimes it's a team's ISP, having routing issues, whatever it may be. Maybe it's even a physical cord or whatever it may be. We've even seen players in the same room have different pings within the same room, which is just wonky stuff
crazy.
sometimes.
Yeah.
We try to diagnose it and fix it live. Sometimes we're not able to, and then we do just need to move to a different server or use MLT, and then we'll fix it, kind of on the off week.
Shit happens. It's just the way it is, man. No, that sounds great. It does sound like, again, trying to do everything we can to make this as fair and competitive as possible, but
Yeah.
nothing is perfect. But yeah, everyone's trying. Everyone's trying their best.
And when we actually do play the game, it is level. We may have had to zig and zag to get there,
Yeah.
but we do get them within 5 milliseconds.
While we're still on the topic of online play, let's roll back a little bit to the Minor One tournament. The first time we played a tournament online with actual stakes and a prize involved since, I think, the pandemic.
Yeah.
I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really nice way to break up the season. Very, very interesting. But Darren, what were your thoughts?
Overall, we're pretty happy with the Minor One tournament. We wanted to come up with a new product that was more interesting to our fans. And then also, very practically, it solved a scheduling issue for us. And I don't know if people actually know about that, but taking one step back, at the beginning of the year, we provide a schedule, an ideal schedule to the teams. This many online qualifying weeks, then the LAN tournament, this many online qualifying weeks, then the LAN tournament. It never ends up that pretty. And you'll probably see this if you look at our schedule. Based on venue availability, one major may be longer than the other. And so when we had that same problem happen for Major 1 and 2 this year, we thought, hey, instead of having extra online qualifying weeks just to fill the gap in between the LANs, let's actually just change it up a little and introduce this tournament. So it solved a very practical scheduling issue with us, and it came up with, I guess, was a cool kind of product riff as well. And our fans have been asking for tournaments and more tournament style competition. So I think that's really the genesis of it. And I think it went well.
Yeah.
We got a lot of feedback from the community, and overall, I think it went well.
I have some of that feedback here.
Okay.
These are sort of the big 4 points that pulled from as much info as we could get.
Yeah.
Should it be a best of 7 finals?
Yeah, it's funny. We had a player feedback meeting just 2 days ago here at the Major, and that was one of the pieces that they had as well. I see no reason why we shouldn't be doing that. So I think Minor 2 will be a best of 7 finals.
Got it.
Yeah.
Double elim.
Double elim. So right now we're doing single elim. We're pretty happy about that. I
Thought it was hot.
I think it's exciting.
spicy.
Practically speaking, the double elimination would require a lot more competition. It probably needs to be outside of one weekend, which would be a problem, or concurrent gameplay, which I don't think we want to get into right now.
Yeah.
So that's probably a no for now. Right now, we like the single elim.
I like the flavor. I think it's a different feel altogether.
Yeah.
Let's talk about scheduling and its placement. This was in the middle of the major. Essentially we had a few weeks of online qualifier, minor tournament, more online qualifier, major.
Yeah.
Is this something that you'd move to the start of a major possibly, or at the end of it? I mean, what would we do there?
Yeah, I think we're open to it. Right, it is right now in the middle. We were thinking if it was at the beginning of the major, it could be weird that you have a LAN tournament and then the first day back is just like another online, like a babier tournament.
Yeah.
That's really the reasoning why we wanted to put it in the middle. That may change. I don't think we feel as beholden to that placement.
Got it. And I think it's really interesting as well. Last piece of info from the community then was, why doesn't your placement at Minor 1 impact seeding going into Major 1?
Yeah.
Which I think lines up with the scheduling question as well.
Yeah, so because we're right now the points that you win, if you win the minor tournament, just go into the playoff seeding, not the major seeding itself. And the reason for that is we didn't want to do double jeopardy within the major when it comes to seeding. And what I mean by that is you have these online qualifying weeks, and your performance on that impacts your Major 1 seeding. But if that also then impacted your Minor 1 seeding, you get better placement within the minor, then that then impacts Major 1. It's just like this compounding
You snowball
effect.
points and
Yeah, so we wanted to separate it a little bit of how you compete in those online qualifying matches, only going to the major, how you do at the minor goes into the playoffs. I think this is one where we feel good about that logic, but we could change that one too, for sure.
Seems like room for growth, but I think it's in a really cool spot already. And it was, for me personally, as someone who's been doing this a while, exciting to see something a little different, especially during the online portion of play. But I thought it was cool. And again, if any of this comes through, I'm down. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah,
but that's it.
And I was just gonna say, appreciate the feedback from the community. I know you just tossed it
Yes.
like it was worthless, but no.
Very valuable.
Very valuable. Very
Thank you,
valuable feedback.
I think that's it for the Major 1 community update. I don't think there's anything else from me. I haven't got anything to say here apart from the Major's great. I hope you could have been here. If you are here, nice job. Anything to add, mate?
Just thank you to the fans for tuning in as we kick off the season. I think we've got a great slate of exciting locations to be visiting, so we hope we can see you at one of them. Thank you to all the fans that did come here to Madrid. We know it's a little farther away. Hopefully great to see all the Europeans, a little shorter for them. But yeah, we're just really excited for the season, and we'll see you next time.